one of the hottest products out there, and that is Impact Wrestling, who put on a killer show last Saturday night at No Surrender. When Impact Wrestling first announced their Impact Plus specials, I didn't watch them. I mean, I thought of them as pretty much what they used to do with the one night onlys pay-per-views that they had. They were one-offs, they didn't matter, and it's true, they didn't matter for the overall product on TV. They were just great nights of professional wrestling. You had some so-and-so dream matches at some point, but overall, if you watched it because you wanted to watch good wrestling, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like I said, I'm a fan of storylines, I'm a fan of entertainment, and if you don't give me a reason to invest into these characters and invest into these storylines, then I'm most likely not to watch that show. And that's what I did for so many years. I did not watch any of these Impact specials until, what was it? 2020, when the pandemic hit. I think the very first show I watched was Hard Justice 2020, because I thought that was the beginning of of Impact Wrestling implementing and making these shows mean something for the week-to-week show that they had. What was it, on Access TV back then? I think the main event for the Hard Justice pay-per-view was Eddie Edwards versus Eric Young for the Impact World Championship. I think Eric Young became Impact World Champion at that time. All in all, it was a good show, and I was happy with the results. And I've been watching these Impact specials ever since, because Impact Wrestling and Scott D'Amore have begun to make him an integral part of Impact Wrestling storylines. To the point that if you don't watch these Impact specials, you're going to be in a severe blank spot for the next week's Impact show. And nothing could be truer than this past weekend's No Surrender pay-per-view event, or Impact special, whatever you want to call it. Because the GOD got betrayed, and they are no longer a part of the Bullet Club. But the Good Brothers are. And I will be lying to you if I tell you that when I saw that GIF or a video clip of the Good Brothers throwing up the Too Sweet sign to Jay White and Chris Bay and joining back up with the Bullet Club, I'll be lying to you if I didn't pop for that. I'll be lying to you if I wasn't excited about that prospect again. And hopefully Impact Wrestling gets to build up their tag team division once more. Moose is on one hell of a run as Impact World Champion. He beat W. Morrissey at No Surrender, and now he's poised to face off against Heath at the Sacrifice event in March. The last big roadblock, the last big pit stop on our way to Rebellion in Poughkeepsie, New York in April. Now, if you ask me, Heath has no chance in hell of dethroning Moose as world champion. That doesn't mean that they can't give us a great title match. And with unfortunate circumstances leading to Josh Alexander no longer being a part of Impact Wrestling right now, I'm pretty much left in a blank spot as it pertains to the main event of Rebellion and who Moose is going to defend his championship against. But that's the fun of Impact Wrestling, right? They're unpredictable as hell. They're the most unpredictable wrestling product out there. AEW be damned. And I said it, yeah, I said it. And then you had you had the events transpire as I said, not as I said that they would transpire, but I told you guys that they were gonna be building up to Impact Wrestling versus Ring of Honor Wrestling. Not only at Rebellion, but also at WrestleMania weekend during April. And that's exactly what happened. Honor No More earned their contracts at No Surrender, and they did so by having a shocking betrayal, which turned out to not be that shocking because Eddie Edwards helped Honor No More earn their contracts and earn their stay at Impact Wrestling. That's great storytelling, and it makes sense because Eddie Edwards got his start in Ring of Honor Wrestling. If I'm not mistaken, Eddie Edwards is a former Ring of Honor World Champion. And it's a betrayal, and it's a turn that has, no pun intended, an impact. Because over the past few years, Eddie Edwards has been chosen and he's been named as the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. So to have him turn on Impact Wrestling, the company that he's been with for the past 7, almost 8 years at this point, that's meaningful. That makes wrestling fans out there, Impact Wrestling fans out there, really get invested into the product. And now, with, again, Josh Alexander no longer in the company in Impact Wrestling, I have to think that whenever he returns, I'm talking about Sami Callihan, he's going to take that Impact Wrestling flag, throw it on his back, go up against his longtime rival, classic rival at this point, Eddie Edwards, and eventually Sami Callihan is going to take revenge against Moose and become Impact World Champion. I'm hoping that that's the story that they're leading up to, and hopefully, maybe the Samoan Submission Machine making a return to Impact Wrestling, one final run. He is a free agent, of course. He does have history with both Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, so we've got that to look forward to. But again, Impact Wrestling has just been building up to these great moments. They always give us a banger of a show. We can't expect anything less from Sacrifice. So Scott D'Amore has been doing quite a great job. And if it were up to me, it is up to me because this is Wrestling Talk. Scott D'Amore is Booker of the Year. He's the Booker of the past few years. And he's turned the company around. And if wrestling fans out there do not want to admit it, and if they're still hung up on AEW, that's on them. But what Impact Wrestling, along with Scott D'Amore, has been doing, you gotta check it out. Please put an effort and find Access TV every Thursday night. Tune into Impact Wrestling. Subscribe to Impact Plus. And just give them their due. Because like I said, Impact Wrestling is the hottest product out there, whether you want to admit it or not, and AEW be damned. What do you think? Do you agree with me? I'm sure a lot of you don't. And if you don't, be free and leave your thoughts and comments on the comment section below. So with that,